What's up, guys? Nick with Paradise Locker here. Today we are talking turkey. It's that time of year again, so gonna go through a little bit with you on the turkeys that we do, that we offer, how to carve up a turkey, and kind of like the way that I like to do it for our Thanksgiving dinner at home. So got one of our cured and smoked turkeys here, and we're gonna carve this thing up and show you how I platter it up and get it ready for the oven. So get my gloves on here. I did wash my hands already because food safety is important. So we'll get gloved up here and get this thing rolling. So first thing, already got my knife sharpened up. Make sure you got a sharp knife. Dealing with a dull knife in the kitchen not only makes it a lot harder to work with, it's dangerous too. Dull edge can get caught up. You try and pull it through and it'll slip and you end up cutting yourself. So make sure you got a sharp knife to start with, and we can get rolling here. Another good little safety tip, if you have a cutting board, and I'm gonna kind of start to carve some of the pieces out of this turkey in the pan here. These things are nice and juicy, so there's quite a bit of juice that's in them. I'm gonna do it in a pan just so it's not getting everywhere. But cutting board to use, if you don't have some of these rubber feet or some sort of grip on the bottom of your cutting board, a cool little tip is, so you see this pan, this pan will kind of slip around nice and easy and makes for, not the safest good firm surface to be cutting stuff on using a sharp blade on. So what I like to do, whether it's cutting board, pan, whatever, just get yourself a kitchen rag, wet it down, hot water, cold water, doesn't matter, but wet it down, lay it down, and then put your cutting board or your pan, whatever you're using, on top of it. You can see that it firms it up a lot more, and it's not near as slippery and doesn't slide around on you. So I'm gonna get this turkey opened up here. And start to dive into carving this thing up. So if you've had one of these from us before, you know how good they are. I really like them. It's not something that I really think about anymore when it comes to turkey, as far as what we're doing with the turkey or anything. These they're cured and smoked, so they come pre-cooked, and all they have to do is be reheated. We have some reheating instructions on our website. I'll put that link down in the description to make it easy to find. And alternatively, what I kind of like to do is I will carve this cold. I'll carve this cold. I will tray it up, or I'll pan it up how I want to serve it. And then I can just throw it in the oven at 350 for about an hour. And I got a whole turkey, hot, ready to serve in an hour. And I don't have to worry about babysitting turkey all day in the oven, basting, all that kind of stuff. Just get it carved up, throw it in a pan, drizzle a lot of olive oil over the top of it, cover it up, throw it in the oven for an hour, and we got hot turkey ready to roll. So with that being said, let's dive into this bird. So I'll try and do a little bit here to be able to show you guys how I like to break them down. Hopefully a few of you can kind of take some of this. I'm sure plenty of you have carved up a turkey before. There's tons of ways to do it. This is how I like to do it. Not saying that you have to do it my way. Make it work for yourself. But if you see something you like, maybe you can take it home, and it helps you out a little bit. So I usually start with breaking down the legs and the wings and getting those off and out of the way. So we're going to start right here. We're going to pull this drum up, and kind of where this split happens, we're going to make a cut here, and we're just going to kind of work our way down to this joint. And you can see right here, you can find that joint. We're just going to make small cuts and keep peeling, putting pressure on this leg, and keep peeling this back until that joint breaks. And we pop that leg right off. And I like to set that guy here on the end. We're going to do the same thing with the other leg. So we're going to peel this up, kind of break out where the joint wants to come apart. And once again, keeping some pressure on this, and just making small cuts until we find that joint, it should just kind of what you see there, it should kind of break wide open. You have that little joint bone, that little socket right there, and we can separate out that drum as well. Set it over here on the side. We're gonna do the same thing with the wings. I'm gonna peel these wings up, kind of take this skin, cut through that, and keep peeling back here, and you'll find that socket, that ball right there, and break that wing off. Set that wing kind of up here to the side. Do the same thing on the other side. Cut that down, peel it back. That socket bone shows itself, and you just work your way down through that. And remember, like I said, with a sharp knife, it makes things a lot easier. So don't try and force your knife. If you find yourself you're forcing your knife, you're either into bone, you're into cartilage, you're into something that isn't tissue, meat tissue, and let yourself up. You know, a good sharp knife will do the work for you. So don't try and fight it. The next spot that I'm going to go, we've obviously got the thighs here, and we've got the breast up top. The next spot that I'm going to go to is peeling the breast out. So we want to find the center line. It's usually pretty easy to see. And we're going to start up towards the head of the turkey. We're going to find that breastbone, and we're just going to make a cut right down the middle. Find that breastbone. I can feel it on this side of my knife. I'm just keeping pressure with my thumb up against that breastbone and making a cut right down that bone, all the way down until I hit the rib cage. And then I'm just going to kind of start scooping. Kind of scoop with the tip of my knife. And just kind of working in a gradual swooping motion down the backbone, across the ribs, and peeling this piece out as it goes. You will get up into the top of the breastbone and the clavicle up here, and just kind of use your fingers and feel around where that bone is. You know, obviously after doing this a few times, you'll kind of know, but as you're first getting started, just kind of feel your way around. You'll be able to feel where the soft tissue is and where the bone is, and just use that tip of your knife. Make small cuts, not too much pressure. Again, let that knife do the work for you. You can start to peel this out. And then we have one big, nice breast meat piece that we can set down on the cutting board and slice it up. I'll go through and slice this. And once again, I'm just kind of prepping this because I don't really, me personally, I don't really want to do any carving post heating up. I like to pull it out of the oven, just have everything ready to go. Makes it a little bit simpler, a little bit less. You don't have to sit there and carve it at the table, have a bunch of hungry people waiting for you to carve it. As soon as it's done in the oven, you can pull it out, set it out. It's ready to start peeling pieces off. So I'm just making, you know, probably somewhere between 1/4 and 1/2 inch slices. You can make bigger slices, you can make thinner slices, however you want to. That works out a little bit pretty nice for that. So, and I'll do my best to keep this all together. Then I just run this right over into the pan and kind of arrange the breast meat right like that. And a little bit left over, it's all right, just kind of tuck it in there. It's all gonna end up getting eaten in the end. So we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. So once again, we find that breastbone. It's pretty easy to see at this point with the other side gone. And we're just gonna go down the opposite side of it. Once again, make nice, smooth, easy cuts. And then we're gonna do that scooping motion again with the knife. Start to get it separated from the rib meat, or from the rib cage. Always cutting away from yourself. You never want to cut toward yourself. And get your knife down in there, kind of start to spread that out a little bit there. and you'll start to see the separation. And once again, you can just kind of follow those bones. If you feel something solid under the blade of your knife, work yourself around to where you're not feeling something solid. Keep your hands up and out of the way of the blade. My blade's pointing down towards the pan. And then we're going to peel this breast piece out as well. That breast piece out as well. Got one nice whole turkey breast. I'll get some of that little skin and cartilage stuff, get it set aside, and then making some slices through here. If you don't have a steel or a honing steel at home, recommend you get one. They are a great tool for keeping a good edge on your knife. And so every once in a while, if you feel your knife starting to get dull or it's not cutting as easy, you can use one of these, and they make a bunch of different varieties of them. But you're just going to take and run your knife a couple times on each side of the blade, and that'll kind of straighten that edge back up. As you use your knife, that blade starts to tweak one way or another as you're running into harder surfaces. And so basically that honing, that the steel or the honing pole will straighten that edge back up and get you right back to a nice sharp edge. So once again, 1/4 to a 1/2 inch slice or so. These are probably about 1/2 inch slices. We'll cut down through that breast meat, and once again kind of pinch in from the outside, putting pressure kind of with my end fingers here, pressure together so I can lift it all up and move it right over to the pan. We'll set it inside there, and now we'll move to the rest of the bird. So after we've got the breasts out, obviously we're going to go back and kind of clean this up so we're not wasting anything as we get done. But once we get done with the breasts, we're going to go down to the thigh meat here. And so right where that socket was where you broke the drumstick off, you can kind of flip this thing upside down and make a cut down around the outside of that thigh meat. Make a small cut, kind of just looping around just like that down towards the tailbone. And then you can, with these turkeys, you can kind of take them and just start to put some outside pressure on that. And you see right there where the socket pops apart. And then we're going to take our knife and just kind of work down through that socket. And we got a thigh right there. Same thing on the other side. We're just going to kind of make a cut to break some of that outside. Start to give some pressure. That socket pops open right there. And we're just going to follow our way through that on the meat tissue, and got thighs broken down there. So the next thing I'm going to do with this is, you see how tender and juicy these turkeys are, is I'm just going to start kind of pulling some of this. You can use your knife if you want to. With these guys, it's not that big of a deal to just kind of use your hands and pull some of this apart. Keep you from getting the little cartilage and stuff that's right around the ball joints and stuff. Kind of keep that out of there. We're using a knife. Every once in a while your knife can slide through that and you'll get a piece of cartilage or something in your finished meat, and it's always not good to bite down on that kind of stuff. So that's why I like using my hands as well. So I'll kind of break that off, run my fingers through, make sure I'm not feeling anything that's super tough or you know, got some hardness to it that I don't want to serve to somebody. So just kind of using my hands to feel down towards that bone and running the meat out around it and separating it from that bone, just pulling it all right off there. Well, if you get to something that doesn't want to pull, just pop your knife out. Once again, real soft strokes, nice and easy, not too much pressure. You don't want to cut yourself. And I did notice with that one, I did have a little bit of cartilage right here. You can see right there, that kind of hard piece of cartilage that the knife doesn't want to cut through. So, but doing it with my hands, I was able to feel that. And so I can just kind of take my knife and work that little piece out. Set that aside so we don't serve that to somebody. And once I got those pieces ready to go and pulled away from the bone, I'm just going to kind of make a pile here and start to dice this up a little bit. Just going to kind of dice this up. Once again, I'm doing, these got a little bit bigger on me, so 1/2, 3/4 inch slices, slicing through. You do want to leave them a little big. You don't want to try and shave this turkey down, especially if you're going to reheat it already cut up. You want to leave it a little bit bigger. Leave your pieces a little bit bigger, just so less of a chance of drying out on you. These things are already brined. Like I said, they're cured and smoked, so the cure does a good job of keeping the moisture content in, but you want to do what you can to make sure that you're not drying it out. So I usually make a couple little piles of some dark meat in here, right around the breast meat, in between the wings and the drums. And so now we've got our carcass that doesn't have the thighs on it, doesn't have the breasts on it, all the wings and the drums are taken. So we still have the secondary wing right here, the second little drumstick. So we're going to do the same thing. I'll grab the end of that bone and kind of start to pry that up and separate it. I found my ball joint right there. We're going to separate that guy out. We'll set that aside. We're going to do the same thing to this side. Find that joint and just work my way down through there and separate that out. Now, kind of the same thing. I'm just going to use my thumbs and dig down into here and start shredding this meat off the bone. These drums are, especially up here, there's a little bit more connective tissue, and so break that knife out and just kind of cut those pieces away. Like I said, you can use your knife to peel this stuff off the bone. Whatever works better for you. I'm not telling you have to do it one way or another, so peel that right all off of there. I'll do a good job making sure that I'm not being wasteful here and getting all the meat off that I can. I'll set that bone aside. Do the same thing with this other side. Just kind of once again going down to feeling the bone. When you're carving out, especially on these leg bones, it's a good idea to keep. You don't want to cut straight down into the bone. Like the bone's running right here, and I don't want to cut straight down perpendicular into the bone. I want to lay my knife down, get myself down towards that bone, and then let that blade right against it, and that'll be a lot easier on your wrist, a lot easier on your grip, and make carving one of these things a lot less tiresome when you're not trying to fight your knife and fight against the bone. So got that guy pretty clean. We'll set that aside. Once again, just kind of take and rough chop this stuff up. Leaving it in some bigger pieces. And make another little pile of dark meat down here at the bottom. Then we're going to go back to our bird. And so we got all the major pieces off, and now we're just going to kind of go back through and do a little bit of cleanup. So just going to go through, find any, there's some nooks and crannies on the carcass, on the bone side, that where little puddles of meat, or little balls of meat will sit. And so we're just going to kind of go through and clean all that up. Once again, I want to get as much turkey off of this thing as possible, and do our best to make sure that we're not wasting good meat, wasting that turkey. And so I'm going to use my hands here and feel around, break this stuff up as I get it off, put it in my pan, and I will, once again, kind of using my fingers to peel some of this stuff off and break the rest of this down. You're not got any big muscle pieces or anything like that, so Using your fingers works all right, and helps you from, once again, making an accidental cut, shaving some bone pieces or something like that, and having a bone piece in your finished turkey, which nobody really wants. So I'll break out the knife if I have to here to get a piece separated if it's got some heavy cartilage or something on it, but just kind of working my way around, making sure that I'm down to the bone with everything and I'm not leaving any meat. So as we're doing this here, starting to get a little hungry, getting ready for turkey. I don't know about you guys, but I get excited about turkey every year around this time, especially with these guys. This is kind of a no fuss, no muss type of deal, and I've gotten to a point where these are the only turkeys I do. They're so easy to handle. Don't have to worry about babysitting your turkey all day, and just have something that you got to heat back up in the oven. So again, just kind of peeling that stuff back, shredding that meat down. And getting all that off the carcass. And getting this ready to go in the oven. So you see that was about 15 minutes or so carving that turkey down. Again, it might take you a little bit longer if it's your first time, but pretty quick and simple way to break down a turkey. And with these guys that are pre-cooked and just need to be reheated, man, it sure makes an easy way to cook a turkey on Thanksgiving Day. So I will make that pan here, and you can kind of see, got that carcass all broke down, and I think I've got about all the meat that I can get off of there. A little bit of fat cover there. One good more thorough check to make sure we got everything that we're supposed to have, and have this. So there you can see that turkey is carved up, ready to go. And what I will do with this is I will drizzle a little olive oil over the top of it, cover this up with some foil. If you have the aluminum foil tray lid, that works fine. Cover that up somehow, throw it in the oven at 350 for about an hour, and you've got a whole turkey hot and ready to serve. So a little bit of a breakdown video there on how I personally like to break down my turkey. My brother's a little different. He likes to heat it up whole and carve it hot. Either way works just fine. Not going to tell you one way or another that it has to be a certain way, because it doesn't. And but this is kind of like the way I like to do it, and I don't have as much babysitting or checking on the turkey in the oven and that kind of thing as it's reheating, and it works out pretty well. So I will say, if you do like crispy skin, if you heat this up in the oven covered at 350, it's not going to crisp the skin very well. So what I would suggest, if you do like a good crispy skin on the outside of your turkey, is after you get it hot and ready to go, so into the oven for 350 for an hour, hot and ready to go, uncover it and stick it back under the broiler for maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and that's going to get some good crispiness on the skin. So you can do that as well. But this is kind of how I like to do it. So thought we'd drop a video out and show you guys breaking down. We got Thanksgiving coming up here in a few weeks, so come check us out if you haven't had one of these before. Definitely come and try one out, because they're super good. You can kind of see that meat is just super moist and super tender. Even the breast meat, you don't have to worry about dry turkey at all. It's got really nice moisture content to it, and they are super tender, and just a great way to have turkey for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, whatever you like to do. So yeah, other than that, we'll be hopping in. Oh, I did want to tell you, keep an eye out in the newsletter on our social over the next few weeks here before Thanksgiving. We are working on developing some recipes, so we've got some cool ones coming out. A little smoked turkey and cream cheese corn slider recipe that we're working on, and a couple other ones. So keep an eye out for those, because I'm pretty excited to see how some of those are going to turn out, and I think you guys will have fun with those at home too, for some leftovers, and giving you kind of some different ideas other than the casserole and different things that are out there. So anyway, guys, we appreciate you stopping in. We'll see you next time, and happy Thanksgiving.